श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपार करुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्.
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we are into this beautiful program Vande GurorMandalam of Adi Shankara Stotras. We are now in Shivananda Lahari. We have come up to now Shloka 7.
Periva Sharanam. Manaste padabje nivasatu vachastotra phanitau karau jabhyarchayam shrutirapi katha karnana vidhau tavadhyane buddhirnayana yugalam murti vibhave paragranthan kairva Paramashiva Paramataha.
Now, various descriptions of Paramashiva's glory we have been going through. Now, there is a prayer, straight prayer, which says that all our sense organs should be directed towards Shiva. Manaste padabje nivasatu. Let my mind reside in your lotus feet. Manaha te padabje nivasatu. Vachaha stotra pranitau. My words should be engaged in chanting stotras. Vachaha stotra pranitau. Pranitau means chanting, expressing. Karaucha abhyarchayam. Karaucha abhyarchayam. Hands also in abhyarchana, in performing archana to Shiva. Abhyarchana is not just archana with full concentration, with nothing left. Everything is complete. Whatever is expected during archana is complete as far as concentration is concerned. Shrutirapi katha karnana vidhau. Shrutirapi, the ear also should be engaged in katha akarnana vidhau, in the process of listening to your stories, your narrations of valor, of compassion, various leelas. So my ear should be engaged in listening to various stories. Tavadhyane buddhihi. My intellect should also be engaged only in your meditation, nothing else, meditating on you. Buddhi is intellect, we have seen before, the faculty which determines which is right and which is wrong. Manas is sankalpa vikalpa svabhavitaha. That is, it has the habit of moving between alternatives. It doesn't know which to choose. Now, intellect helps you to choose the right one according to dharma. So, when he says the mind has already been dedicated to the lotus feet, the mind is already thinking of only the lotus feet, and intellect is not doing anything else. Intellect is also thinking only of you. So, all faculties are directed towards you. Tavadhyane buddhihi nayana yugalam murti vibhave. Nayana yugalam, my twin eyes. Yugala is a term normally you might have seen associated with Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna Yugala Murti, the twin Murti. So here also the twin eyes should be directed towards Murti Vibhave, in appreciating and enjoying the glory of your form. Murti Vibhave, the glory of your form. Paragranthan Kairva Paramashiva Paramataha. Having done all this, having directed all the indriyas towards you, O Paramashiva, Atah Param, Param Ataha, Atah Param. After this, Paragranthan Kairva Jane, Paragranthan, other books not dealing with you. So other books, Kairva Jane, with what faculty will I understand? Will I come to know? If you want to understand a book, you have to use your mind and intellect. My mind and intellect are already dedicated towards you. So there is no mind, there is no intellect, there is no eye, there is no ear, there are no hands for directing towards a book other than your glory. So, Paragranthan, other books other than those dealing with you, Kairva Jane, with what faculties should I know them? I cannot know them, that means all my being is directed towards Shiva, so nothing more is required of me, nothing more I can do also, nothing more is in my capacity. This is an oft repeated theme. It comes in many stotras of Adi Shankara. It is there even Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. In fact, this particular thought has been taken from there, like other similar words and similar thoughts in other shlokas. There is a similar words in Subramanya Bhujangam. There are similar verses in many stotras. I am taking Subramanya Bhujangam as a closest example. Drishiskandamurtihi Shrutau Skandakirtihi Mukhe me pavitram sadataccharitram karetasya krityam vapustasya bhrityam guhe santulena mama shesha bhavaha. Let my eye be directed towards your form, O Skanda. Let my ear be directed towards your fame. Let my mind always speak about your leelas. And my hands should always be doing your service. Karayat asya krityam. Vapustasya bhrityam. My whole body is working like a servant to you. That means whatever you are expecting me to do, my whole body is keen on doing it. So, O Guha, in Guha, let all my bhavas, all my emotions, all my feelings completely should be merged. Guhe santu linaha. So, similar sentiment has come here. Let my mind reside at your lotus feet. Let my words utter your stotras in praise of you. Let my hands be engaged in your abhyarchana, archana with all full concentration. Let my ears be engaged in the process of listening to your leelas. Let my intellect be directed to meditating you. Let my twin eyes see only the glory of your form. After all this, O Paramashiva, after all this means having directed all my organs in this manner, sense organs in this manner, with what faculty, with which sense organ should I understand other books other than those dealing with you? Manaste padabje nivasatu vachaha stotra pranito karauchabhyarchayam shrutirapi katha karnana vidhau tavadhyane buddhihi nayanayugalam murti vibhave paragranthan kairva paramashiva jane paramataha.
यथा बुद्धिः शुक्तौ रजतमिति काचाश्मनिमणिः जले पैष्टे क्षीरं भवति मृगतृष्णासु सलिलं तथा देवभ्रान्त्या भजति भवदन्यं जडजनो महादेवेशं त्वां मनसि च नमत्वा पशुपते.
Now, in this shloka, he is now talking about how our mind gets digressed from Shiva because of the Maya in which we live. The digression, the turning away, that attraction towards samsara is what is the subject here. Yatha buddhihi suktau rajatamiti. Just as our intellect misunderstands ordinary shell, seashell lying on the seashore as silver. From a distance, it shines in sunshine like silver. So we think sometimes it is silver. This is a common example given in Vedanta for misunderstanding. Actually, this world does not exist for the jnani. For us, it exists very much. For the jnani, the world does not exist. Only Parameshwara exists in the form of the world. So whatever they see as Parameshwara. So it is we who take all this samsara seriously, and we, in the process, misunderstand. Yata buddhihi shuktau rajatamiti. Just as this intellect understands wrongly the seashell as silver, kacha kachashmani manihi. Kachashma is glass stone, ordinary glass stone. In that we see gem. We see a valuable gem in ordinary glass stone. Jale paishte kshiram. In water we see in water a flour, in rice flour mixed with water, paishtam jale, paishte jale, we see kshiram, we see milk. Ordinary pishtam is rice flour. Ordinary water in which rice flour has been mixed, we consider as milk. That is the level of our misunderstanding. Of course, there is an example of this in the Puranas for this misunderstanding of Pishta Jala as Kshira. It may be difficult for us to understand, but this has happened even in Purana age. There was a great sage called Upamanyu, the son of Vyaghrapada, the great sage. As a child, he was being fed this kind of water mixed with rice flour instead of milk by his mother and father because they were so poor. They could not afford milk. They were living in the forest in a cottage and they could not afford this kind of thing, milk. So this Upamanyu was also thinking that that was milk and then taking it. But one day when he went to his aunt's house, aunt was Vasishtha's wife Arundhati. That was the sister of Vyaghrapada. So he went there, he was taken there, the child, and there they gave him excellent milk. Naturally, they have Nandini, the daughter of Kamadhenu, in their home. So this child saw that this is the true milk, very tasty, but not the milk which we were taking at home, which I was taking at home. So when he came back, he refused to take that milk. When he came back to their home, he refused to take that milk. Then his mother tried to make him understand the situation. But he said, no, I will not take this milk. I will do tapas towards Parameshwara and ask him for real milk. And a child of maybe 1 or 2 years went and did tapas towards Parameshwara. Parameshwara was so happy, so pleased with this child's tapas. He brought not only milk for the child, he brought the entire Kshirabdhi, the ocean of milk for this child. This child, Upamanyu, became a great Shiva Bhakta, a great sage. And he was the one who initiated Krishna into Shiva Sahasranama and Shiva Diksha. So this story is narrated in detail in Mahabharata. So Krishna goes to him, gets initiated into Shiva mantras and Shiva Sahasranama. This is narrated by Krishna himself, the story. And after that, having been initiated, he goes to the top of a hill and does intense tapas for 6 months towards Parameshwara for getting a son through his wife Jambavati. He had got a son through his wife Rukmini, but he wanted a son through Jambavati. Then ultimately Shiva and Parvati came there and blessed him. So that is a different story. So this kind of misunderstanding of rice flour mixed water as milk has happened actually in the Purana story. Jale paishte kshiram bhavati mrigatrishnasu salilam. Similarly, in mrigatrishnasu, in what do you call that? The one which you see at a distance in desert, mirage. In the mirage, when you see at a distance, you think it is water. In a desert, normally animals start running because they are very thirsty. After all, the desert, there is no water and there is so much of heat. So the animals run after this water, which they think it is water. It is actually a mirage at a long distance. Tatha, he has given these examples in a similar manner. Deva Bhrantya Bhajati Bhavadanyam Jadajano. Jadajanaha, the ignorant person, not a jnani, the ignorant person, what does he do? Deva Bhrantya, deluding himself as Deva, confusing himself as Deva, he goes to somebody else, confused, thinking that somebody else is Deva, he goes to somebody else. Whom does he go to? Bhavadanyam bhajati, somebody other than you, bhavat anyam. Somebody other than you, he goes and worships in the illusion that he is the real Deva. He is suffering from that illusion, just as the intellect was suffering from so many illusions which were listed earlier. Similarly, this ignorant person is suffering from illusion that some other Deva is the real Deva. That is the confusion. So what does he do? Mahadevesham tvam manasi chanamatva pashupate. Oh Pashupate. Even in mind, manasi cha, even in mind, he does not think of you. Namatva Mahadevesham. Mahadeva Isha. You are Mahadeva and you are Ishvara. You are all powerful, all beneficent, all beneficial, all gracious. But he leaves you and goes to somebody else in the illusion that somebody else is the real Deva. So he does not even think of you. If he goes to somebody else and if he thinks that somebody else is also your form, then there is something creditable. But he doesn't do that. He thinks that he has gone to somebody else who is better. So this is the Bhranti, this is the illusion. So he does not even think of you, who you are Mahadeva and you are Ishvara. He leaves you and then goes to somebody else. This is the illusion with which people suffer. Yatha buddhi shuktau rajatamiti kachashmani jale paishte kshiram bhavati mrigatrishnasu salilam. Just as the intellect confuses itself on seeing seashell as silver, on seeing glass rock as gem, as water mixed with rice flour as milk, on seeing mirage as real water, तथा देवभ्रान्त्या भजति भवदन्यं जडजनो महादेवेशं त्वां मनसि च नमत्वा पशुपते. O Pashupate, similarly, this ignorant man goes to someone other than you and under the illusion that he has gone to a better Deva, He does not even think of you in his mind. You are Mahadeva and Ishvara. Next.
गभीरे कासारे विशति विजने घोरविपिने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थं जडमतिः समर्प्यैकं चेतः सरसिजमुमानाथ भवते सुखेनावस्थातुं जन इह न जानाति किमहो.
Now he is referring to another misunderstanding. Gabhire kasare vishati vijane ghora vipine. A person goes in search of a flower for offering to Parameshwara. Kusumartham jadamatihi. Next line. Kusumartham jadamatihi bhramati. Jadamatihi, an ignorant person. A fellow whose intellect is inert. Jadamatihi. That kind of inert fellow, Brahmati, goes all round, wanders all round for the sake of a flower. Kusumartham. Where does he go? Gabhire, Kasare. Kasara is a lake, a deep lake. He goes to a deep lake looking for a flower. Sometimes these lotus flowers are there in a lotus pond, sometimes they are deep. So he is talking about that. Gabhire, Kasare, Vishati. He goes and enters that lake. Similarly, he goes and enters Vijane, Ghora Vipine. Terrible forest, Ghora Vipine. Terrible forest. No human being there. Vijane, no human being. Terrible forest. He goes there for the sake of plucking a flower. Vishale, Shaile, he goes to a mountain, huge mountain. There also he is looking for a flower. Because he is Jadamati. He has got a very inert mind, very ignorant fellow. Samarpya ekam chetaha sarasijam umanatha bhavate. Hey Umanatha, hey consort of Uma. Ekam chetaha sarasijam. He has got a beautiful lotus with him. That is the mind. His mind is the lotus. Sarasija is lotus. His mind is the lotus. And if he goes and dedicates that to you, offers it to you, Samarpya bhavate. Bhavate means to you, Samarpya means offering. If he offers that unique, ekam, unique mind lotus at your feet, if he offers that, then what will happen? Sukhena avasthatum janayihana janati kimaho. This he doesn't know. This process of dedicating his mind flower at your feet, na janati. He doesn't understand, he doesn't know. That is why he is wandering here and there. Sukhena avasthatum. If he has done that, he can rest at home. He doesn't have to go here and there. Sukhena avasthatum. He can comfortably rest. He can comfortably sit down. But this foolish fellow, Janaha, iha, on this earth, under this circumstance, na janati. He doesn't understand this. It's a pity. Kimaho. It's a great wonder. Great pity, great wonder. Because something very valuable, see how we have great Vedantic thought, he is putting in a very beautiful, poetic manner. Manasa Puja is many, many times more valuable than Bhashya Puja according to our Shastra. That is why Shiva Manasa Puja also has been composed by Adi Shankara. So, even in Lalita Sahasranamam, there is a nama, Antarmukha Samaradhya, Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. In fact, Lalita Sahasranamam and Saundarya Lahari and all Devi Tantras refer in great detail to Samayachara Puja, that is, Puja in mind, not external Puja. External Puja they do in Sri Chakra or Meru. That is no doubt recommended, but even more valuable is their internal Manasik Puja. That is why it is said there, Antarmukha Samaradhya. She is worshipped easily If you are antarmukha, if you turn your mind inwards, bahirmukha, if you have turned your mind outwards, sudurlabha, difficult to attain. Lalita Devi is difficult to attain. Similarly, here, this fellow, this Gadamatihi, this ignorant fellow, for the sake of one flower, he goes here and there, wanders here and there. He goes to a deep lake, he goes to a terrible forest where no human being is there, and he goes to a huge mountain. Actually, what he should be doing, he has got a unique lotus flower, and that is his mind. If he submits, offers that mind at your lotus feet, he can rest at peace. Very comfortably he can rest. That he doesn't understand. He doesn't know this. What a pity. गभीरे कासारे विशति विजने घोर विपिने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थं जडमतिः समर्प्यैकं चेतः सरसिजमुमानाथ भवते सुखेनावस्थातुं जन इह न जानाति किमहो किमहो. What a pity, what a wonder. Next.
नरत्वं देवत्वं नगवनमृगत्वं मशकता पशुत्वं कीटत्वं भवतु विहगत्वादिजननं सदा त्वत्पादाब्जस्मरणपरमानन्दलहरी विहारासक्तं चेत् हृदयमिह किं तेन वपुषा.
Now he is saying, you give me whatever birth you want, not necessarily a human birth. Whatever birth you want, you give me. Because of my karma, you may decide to give me a very lowly birth. Doesn't matter, I don't care. As long as I can do Shiva Bhakti, no problem with any birth. That is what he says. That shows the intensity of bhakti. It doesn't mean that we go and prefer a lowly birth. It doesn't mean that. It's not taken at face value. What is important is Shiva Bhakti is paramount. Wherever you are, in whatever condition you are, even as a human being, you may be in very difficult conditions. What Shiva Bhakti? I am suffering now. That is maybe our attitude, isn't it? For Shiva Bhakti, you need peace of mind. Do I have peace of mind? This may be our attitude. Most of the time, this is our attitude. Most people suffer from this attitude. So, wherever you are, under whatever circumstances you are, if you have Shiva Bhakti, that is what is going to help you. Naratvam, Devatvam, Nagavana, Mrigatvam, Mashakata. Naratvam, human birth. The state of human being, direct translation. The state of human being, the state of Deva, Nagavana, Mrigatvam, the state of animal, wandering in a hill or wandering in a forest, Nagavana. Animal in a hill or a forest, Mashakata, being a mosquito, Pashutvam, being an animal. The first animal was a wild animal, the second animal is a domestic animal, Pashutvam. Pashu is a domestic animal. Normally, Pashu is the term used for cattle which are reared by human beings for their own benefit, whereas Mriga is not like that. That is why he is using these two different terms. Pashutvam, Kitatvam. Kita is the worm. Bhavatu, let it happen, doesn't matter. Vihagatva di jananam. Vihaga is bird. So that also has included Adi, something which I may not have listed, which you may have in mind. Jananam bhavatu, let my birth take place in any of these various birds listed. Sada tad padabja smarana paramananda lahari. Sada, always. Tad padabja smarana, meditating on your lotus feet. That is the important thing. Whichever birth, whichever condition we may be, but we should meditate on your lotus feet. Tvat padabhya smarana. What will happen if I meditate? Paramananda lahari viharasaktam chet hridayam iha. If my heart, hridayam iha, on this earth, if my heart is attached to asaktam, if it is attached to vihara, sporting in what? Paramananda Lahari. Just as Shivananda Lahari, same thing he is using another word here. the flow, the wavy flow of bliss, supreme bliss, the beautiful, the very enjoyable wavy flow. See, steady flow is different from wavy flow. That is why he is using the term Lahari. If you go and take bath in a river, if you go and take bath in a lake or a pond, it's not the same, isn't it? You go and take bath in a river, you enjoy that because river has got waves. A wave is coming and then hitting you, and then you immerse yourself. Then another wave, till another wave comes, it is steady. Then next wave comes. So this is the beautiful enjoyment. So that is what he says. This is what happens in case of Paramananda. We were talking about bathing in a river. Now we are talking about our mind bathing in this kind of waves of bliss. These waves of bliss are coming in waves, not in a single steady, unchanging state of bliss. That is what is important to understand. This Paramananda Lahari is coming in waves. Why it is coming in waves? Because Ananda comes by experiencing various leelas associated with Shiva, various forms of Shiva. Shiva is known to have 64 forms. If you go and see Shiva literature, there are 64 forms, including Nataraja, Bhikshatana, and so on, Bhairava, and so on. So, if your mind goes to any of those forms, if you think of the form, the weapons, the ornaments he is wearing, Bhairava has got a dog with him. So, if you go on thinking of all these things, it is a wave. It cannot be a steady flow of water, isn't it? So, he says, Parama Ananda Lahari, this is what happens when continuously, Sada, when I continuously meditate on your lotus feet. If my Hridaya, my heart is attached to sporting in those wavy waters, my purpose is served. Here on this earth, my purpose is served. Kim te na vapusha. What does it matter with that body? Because he has talked about several bodies, isn't it? Nara, Deva, Nagavana, Mriga, and so on. So these are all only bodies, forms. Kim te na vapusha. What does it matter? What do I do with that body? Vapu is body. What does it matter? That body does not matter to me because even in that body, I am enjoying the bliss. That is most important. That is why he is putting a condition. You may give me any birth, but as long as I am enjoying that bliss, I don't care for that body. Naratvam, Devatvam, Nagavana, Mrigatvam, Mashakata, Pasutvam, Kitatvam, Bhavatu Vihagatva, Jananam, Sada Tatpadabhya Smarana Paramananda Lahari. विहारासक्तं चेत् हृदयमिह किं तेन वपुषा
वटुर्वागेहि वा यतिरपि जटी वा तदितरो नरो वा यः कश्चिद्भवतु भव किं तेन भवति यदीयं हृत्पद्मं यदि भवदधीनं पशुपते तदीयस्त्वं शम्भो भवसि भवभारं च वहसि.
Now his last shloka he said, you give me whichever type of birth, I don't care. Now he says, whichever ashrama, even as a human being, whichever ashrama I am in, doesn't matter as long as I pray to you. Vaturva, Gehiva, Yatirapi, Jativa, Taditaraha. Vatu is Brahmachari. The one who is doing Vedadhyayana in a Gurukula, he is called Vatu. The Brahmachari, young boy who goes to Gurukula, stays with the Guru, studies Veda, he is a Vatu. So, Vaturva, Gehiva, Va means or, various alternatives. Let me be a brahmachari or let me be a grihastha. Gehi means grihastha. Geha means griha, home, homebound grihastha. We have seen about the glory of grihastha before. Yati rapi, okay. I may be a yati. Yati means sannyasi. The fourth ashrama, the ashrama which is dedicated only to jnana. Yati rapi, jati iva taditaraha. Now jati is the person who is having a jata, matted tresses. That is the third ashrama, that is Vanaprastha ashrama. In Vanaprastha ashrama, he wears a jata and he has some Agni with him for doing his worship and for doing his cooking, little bit of Agni, not for any other purpose, and for minimum living. And for minimum living, he does not seek food or anything else from anyone. He is in a forest, mind you. He is all alone with his wife, and there is no one to help him, mind you, except Bhagavan. He doesn't depend on anyone. So, how does he sustain himself? For sustaining himself, he goes to fields, nearby fields, whatever paddy or whatever grain has been left behind by the farmers in the fields, or whatever rice after cleaning up, if they leave, that paddy or that rice or that dhanya he picks up and he uses it for cooking. This is called uncha vritti, living on uncha. Uncha is this kind of collection of leftover grains, that is uncha. So that is gati. Taditaraha means he has listed the four ashramas which are normal ashramas as per Shastra. Now he says Taditaraha. Someone may be in a ashrama which is different from all the four. How can it be different from all the four? You have to be in one of the four as per Shastra. But there are some jnanis, some exceptions. Ramana Maharshi was an exception. He could not be placed in any one of these ashramas. So they are called Ativarnashrami. Shastra allows that. Shastra gives him a special status. They are beyond Varna and Ashrama. Ativarnashrami. Varna rules also do not bind him. Ashrama rules also do not bind him. Why? Because he is a jnani. Taditaraha, maybe I am in that category. Narova yakkaschid bhavatu bhavakintena bhavati. I may be a human being or not even a human being. Yakkaschid means anyone, someone. As he listed in the previous sloka, maybe any of the other births, non-human births. Bhavatu, let it be there. Bhava kintena bhavati. Bhava is an address. Bhava is Parameshwara. Oh Parameshwara. He is called Bhava. In the Archana, this name comes first. Bhavaya Devaya Namaha. Sharvaya Devaya Namaha. Bhava means the one who is responsible for creation. Next Nama is Sharva. Sharva is one who is responsible for destruction. Because creation and destruction are happening constantly. So Bhava, O Parameshwara, Kintena Bhavati, what does it matter? What happens because of that? Because of this ashrama variation, or whether because of human or non-human species, what does it matter? What happens because of that? Yadi yam hrit padmam, yadi bhavad adhinam pashupate, O Pashupate, yadi yam means whichever, whoever. Yadi yam means whosoever, of whosoever hrit padmam, of whosoever heart lotus, of whosoever heart lotus, yadi bhavati bhavat adhinam, if, yadi is if, in case that heart lotus of any one person becomes subservient to you, bhavat adhinam, that means dedicated to you. If that heart lotus is dedicated only to you, bhavat adhinam, tadiyastvam shambho bhavasi. Whoever has done it, yadiyam is whoever hrit padmam of whichever person. Tadiyaha, of that person, tvam shambho bhavasi. O Shambho, you become property of that person. Tadiyaha means property of that person. That means that person has you at your command, at his command. This is the most interesting thing. Because he has placed his hot lotus at your feet, you are there to fulfill all his needs. It doesn't mean that he looks for something extraordinary, something unnecessary, something which is not in his interest. But he will not do that because automatically, because his hot lotus is dedicated to Shiva, automatically his mind will be on the path of dharma. In fact, on the straight path of dharma. He will not deviate even a little bit here and there. Whatever he says will be, this is what how Shastra describes such a jnani. He becomes a jnani. Actually, whatever he says is Shastra. He may not have read any Shastra, but he quotes Shastra without reading. That is his greatness. Whatever he does is as per Shastra. There will be no deviation. So naturally, Shambhu has nothing to do except watching him, strictly speaking. So Shambhu becomes his property. Tadiyaha tam Shambho bhavasi. Not only that, bhavabharam cha vahasi. Now he has no time for sustenance, activities of sustenance. He doesn't know how to sustain himself because he has lost himself in samadhi, lost himself in worshipping you. So then what happens to his living? You take care of his living. Bhavabharam cha vahasi. You carry the load of samsara. You carry the load of samsara. Ramana Maharshi used to say that we are all fools because we carry this load of samsara. A person who is traveling in a train does not carry the luggage on his head. He might have brought the luggage on his head till he reaches the train. But once he is into the train, he keeps it in the luggage rack and sits comfortably. That is how, as long as you are in the samsara train, that samsara train is activated by Bhagavan. So you should leave your luggage to him. What luggage? Samsara luggage. The samsara baggage, if you leave it to him, he carries it for you. Bhavabharam cha vahasi. He carries the load of samsara. So let it be brahmachari, let it be grihastha, let it be sannyasi, let it be vanaprastha, let it be an ativarnashrami, let it be human being or anyone else. What does it matter? O Bhava, O Parameshwara, what does it matter? If anyone has offered his hot lotus and made it completely subservient to you, has offered it completely to you, O Pashupati, if he has done that, you become his property and you start carrying the load of samsara for him. Actually, Bhagavan says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. We all know this famous sloka. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vaham yaham. Those who constantly think of me, see, these are the conditions for him to carry your yogakshema. Those who constantly think of me, those who worship me always, paryupasate. For those people who are always attached to me, Nitya Abhiyuktanam. Nitya Yuktanam is enough actually. Nitya Abhiyuktanam is attached to me in all ways. That is, as we say, but through all Karanas. In one of the earlier shlokas we saw, isn't it? How all Karanas are dedicated to Shiva. Like that. If he has dedicated all his Karanas to me, naturally, he has no time for Yogakshema. So his Yogakshema, I carry. Yogakshema means normal living. That means yoga is something which you do not have, material which you do not have, that he gives you. Apraptasya praptihi yogaha. And what he has given you, you should protect, isn't it? But you don't have time to protect, you don't know how to protect. That protection also he does. So he gives you whatever you need and he also protects whatever he has given you. Kshema is praptasya rakshanam kshemaha. So all this he does. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vaham yaham. Similarly, there is a statement in Narada Bhakti Sutra that is, there is no distinction of who has offered his hot lotus at the feet of Shiva. There is no distinction. Whoever may, that is why he has listed all these possibilities. That Narada also says in the Bhakti Sutra, definition of Bhakti. Nasti teshu jati kula vidya rupasana kriyadi bhedaha. Among them, there is no difference of jati, caste, kula, lineage, vamsha, vidya, whether he is learned or not learned, rupa, whether his form is beautiful or not beautiful, dhana, whether he is wealthy or not wealthy, kriya, whether he has done anything, any puja, any yaga, or has done nothing. All these don't matter. As long as he has done this one thing, if he has done, all these differences do not matter. That is what Narada himself says in his Bhakti Sutra. Vaturva jehi va yatirapi jati va taditaraha naro va yah kaschid bhavatu bhava kintena bhavati yadiyam hritpadmam yadi bhavadadhinam pashupate tadiyastvam shambho bhavasi bhavabharancha vahasi.
गुहायां गेहे वा बहिरपि वने वा अद्रिशिखरे जले वा वह्नौ वा वसतु वसतेः किं वद फलम् सदा यस्यैवान्तःकरणमपि शम्भो तव पदे स्थितं चेद्योगोऽसौ स च परमयोगी स च सुखी.
Now, wherever you may place me, now he was thinking of whichever birth you give me. Next shloka he said, whichever ashrama you place me in, it doesn't matter to me. Now he says, wherever, whichever location you place me, doesn't matter to me. Guhayam geheva bahirapi vaneva adrishikhare. You may find me in a cave. You may find me in a house. Bahirapi, outside, in a forest, or on the top of a mountain. Jaleva vanhauva vasatu. Let me live in water or agni. How to live in water or agni? Because some people who do tapas do jalastambham and immerse themselves underwater and do tapas underwater. Don't think it is impossible. There was one Saurabha Rishi who was doing that. Even under the water, he was carried away by what the fishes were doing. Look at that. This is what happens when your mind is not under your control. So, the story goes how he was attracted by the fishes and so on. So, this is possible. Tapasvis do that underwater or in the midst of Agni, that is 4 Agnis at the 4 corners and the Agni of Surya on top. This is called Panchagni Tapas. So that is what he says, one how. Whether it is water or whether it is Agni, Vasatu, let me live, whether it is a cave, whether it is a house, whether it is a forest outside, or whether it is a mountain top, whether it is water, whether it is Agni. Let me be there, no problem. Vasate kim vada phalam. Even if he resides in any one of these places, what is the fruit? Tell me. Simply by living in a cave, because you retire to a cave for the purpose of meditation. You choose a house, in a corner of a house you choose for the purpose of meditation. You choose a forest, similarly you choose a mountain top. There are stories connected with yogis who have gone to mountain top and have succeeded in meditating. This is not to decry this practice. All these practices are valid, good. But the emphasis on meditation, that is what he is trying to say. So, let it be in water, let it be in Agni. What is the fruit? Please tell me. Sada yasyaivantak karanamapi shambho tavapade sthitam chet yogosau sacha paramayogi sacha sukhi. Sada, wherever he may be, always Yasyaiva antahkaranamapi. Maybe his body is there in a cave or body is there underwater. Not enough. This antahkarana should also be at your feet. Antahkarana is the inner equipment. What is this inner equipment? We have seen manas, we have seen buddhi. There is something called chitta and there is something called ahankara. There are 4 compartments of antahkarana. 4 compartments are not there. There are only thoughts. We have seen this before. All thoughts are classified in 4 categories for the purpose of our understanding. We have seen manas, the mind. We have seen buddhi, the intellect. Chitta is the storehouse of information because the buddhi decides on a certain course of action, whether it is as per dharma or not as per dharma. How to decide? Based on the knowledge. How do you get the knowledge? Knowledge is based on the storehouse that you have accumulated by listening to great people, by reading shastras, whatever means. That storehouse is chitta. Then the last is ahankara, because you have an entity of your own. You think you are yourself. That is at the base of everything. That base is creating the storehouse of knowledge. That base is creating the manas. That base is creating the buddhi. So all these four together are known as antakarana. All these four are one and the same. That is why it is grouped in one category called the antakarana, inner equipment, inner sense organ, antakarana, bahikarana or the indriyas. So antakarana, these are the four categories of inner equipment. If this inner equipment, tavapade sthitam, if it is laid at your feet, if this antakarana, sada, always, yasyaiva, for whom his antakarana is always laid at your feet, laid means sthitam means without any change, without any change, without any vikara, the manas, etc., should be constantly at your feet. Sthitam chet, if it is done, asau yoga, that is yoga. The definition of yoga has been given here in this shloka. What is yoga? This is yoga. Dedicating your antakarana at the feet of Shiva permanently without any change, that is yoga. Not simply doing asana, etc. They are all steps in yoga. According to Patanjali, yoga has got 8 steps, Ashtanga yoga, and the last is samadhi. So once you have attained samadhi, that is yoga. That is what he is talking about here. Asau yoga, that is yogi. Sacha parama yogi, one who has achieved this is the supreme yogi. Sacha sukhi, he is enjoying the best. His enjoyment is the maximum. Not one who has gone to a cave but thinking of samsara. Who has gone to the mountain top but thinking of samsara. Who is underwater but looking at the fishes and mind is distracted. So these are not yoga. These things, these activities are not yoga. So if your antakarana is entirely without any change at all times offered at the feet of Shambhu, then you have achieved yoga and you are a parama yogi. गुहायां गेहे वा बहिरपि वने वा अदृशखरे जले वा वह्नौ वा वसतु वसते किं वद फलम् तदा यस्यैवान्तःकरणमपि शम्भो तव पदे स्थितं चेत् योगोऽसौ स च परमयोगी स च सुखी.
असारे संसारे निज भजन दूरे जडधिया भ्रमन्तं मामन्धं परमकृपया पातु मुचितं मदन्यः को दीनः तव कृपण रक्षाति निर्गुणः त्वदन्यः को वामे त्रिजगति शरण्यः पशुपते.
In the previous shloka, I wanted to quote one citation from Kathopanishad, which gives the same thought, very beautiful. Same thought is conveyed in Kathopanishad in the teaching of Yama to Nachiketas. He says, Eko vashi sarva bhutantaratma ekam rupam bahudha karoti. One who can be brought under your control, vashi, and he is residing inside all living beings. Sarva bhutantaratma ekam rupam bahudha karoti. He has only one form, that is being formless. Nirakara, that is his form. But he takes many forms because of kripa. Bahudha karoti tamatmastham yenu pashyanti dhiraha. That entity, Atma, who those people who are able to see that Atma continuously, anupashyanti, they are really people of courage. Dhiraha, they are really people of courage. Why they are called courageous? Because they have been able to focus all their attention on Atma. That's great, isn't it? without getting distracted by any mundane attraction. So dhiraha tesham sukham shashvatam netaresham. Their sukha, their happiness is eternal, shashvatam. Na etaresham, not for others. For others, that sukha is not eternal. This is what Kathopanishad teaches us. Same teaching Adi Shankara has given us beautifully. Simple shloka he has given, something very complex given in Upanishad. असारे संसारे निज भजन दूरे जडधिया भ्रमंतम आमंधम परम कृपया पातुमुचितम. Now he is describing himself as a Dina Purusha, as a poor pitiable fellow. I don't know anything. That kind of prayer he is doing. Asare samsare. This samsara is having no sara, having no essence. It is called samsara because it is always changing. Always changing does not mean there is essence. There is no essence. There is nothing to be enjoyed here. And Nija Bhajana Dure Jadadhiya, because of my inert intellect, my useless, ignorant intellect, I have distanced myself from worshipping you. Nija Bhajana Dure, I have distanced myself from worshipping you because of Jadadhiya, because of my inert intellect. Brahmantam, I am wandering in this asare, samsare, Brahmantam. I am wandering in this samsara which has no essence, which has no substance. Mam andham, I am really blind. If I am wandering in a place totally useless, then am I not blind? I am really blind. Mam andham, I am blind. Paramakripaya patu mochitam. If you see a blind fellow, even on a road, you see a blind fellow, what do? You go and try to help him, isn't it? That is expected. That is human nature. That is also expected. Paropakara. Paropakaraartham idam shariram. So when that is the case, now I am a completely blind fellow. I am like a blindfolded man. I am wandering in this insubstantial samsara, and because of my stupid intellect, I have distanced myself from worshipping you. So what you should do? Should you go and watch the fun? No. Paramakripaya patum uchitam. It is appropriate that you go and protect me with supreme compassion. Patum is protection. Paramakripaya patum uchitam. That is appropriate for you. Madanya Kodinaha. So if you are saying, no, there are thousands of people like you, now I have no time for you. If you say that, that is not correct. Madanyaha Kodinaha. Other than me, who is pitiable? I am the most pitiable. I am the first in that line to attract your attention. Tava Kripanarakshaati Nipunaha Tadanya Kovame Vijagati Sharanya Pashupate. Kripana Raksha Ati Nipunaha. You are known to be master in protecting the pitiable, the protecting the weak. Kripana. Those who are weak, those who deserve protection, in protecting them, you are the master. Kripana Raksha Ati Nipunaha Tadanya Kova. Other than you, is there anyone else in all the three worlds, Vijagati? In all these three worlds, is there anyone else other than you who can call himself a master in protecting the weak? Sharanyaha, you are the Sharanya, you are the one in whom refuge should be taken. You are the one to whom people should surrender. When that is the case, because you are the master in showering compassion and protecting the weak, if that is the case, and I am the most deserving case, I am the most pitiable case, Pashupate, naturally, you have to protect me. Patum Uchitam, that Patum Uchitam, he is now giving a reason. Because he said, nah, it is appropriate that you protect me. Why you should protect me? Because there is nobody more pitiable than me, and you are known to be a master in protecting the weak. There is no one other than you in all the three worlds who deserves to be surrendered to. So if that is the case, you have to protect me, O Pashupate. Asare samsare nija bhajana dure jadadhiya Brahmantam mamandham परमकृपया पातुमुचितं मदन्यः को दीनः तव कृपणरक्षाति निपुणः त्वदन्यः को वा मे त्रिजगति शरण्यः पशुपते. Now time is up. We will stop here for the day. Are there any questions?
No questions, Mama.
No question. So we stop for the day. I wish you all the best. Please join the program again tomorrow at 6:30 IST. All the best. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva.